Welcome to Rambam in Depth. Today we'll be discussing the malacha of Harish, of plowing, one of the 39 malachas. The Mishna in Shabbat lists all 39 types of malacha, and it lists it in the order of Zarya, planting, Harish, and plowing. First planting, and then plowing. Normally, things are not done that way. So the Gemara asks the question, why does it say Zarya first? Person plows first, and then they plant. So the Gemara answers, Tana B'Eretz Yisrael Kai. The Tana, who listed the Lamites Malachas, lived in Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, the Zarya Bereisha, V'har de Karbi. First they plant, and then they plow. As the Minchas Chinuch explains, that means that in Eretz Yisrael, they first plow, which is what you have to do before you plant. Then they plant, and then they plow again. Why would they do that? So Rashi explains, because in Eretz Yisrael, koshehi, the earth is hard. They can't cover up the seeds without plowing again. And the Mishna comes to tell us that this is also called charisha. As the Minchas Chinuch explains, that even though they already did charish in the beginning, and this is the second time, maybe you would think that it's not considered Harish. The Mishnah tells us, no, it is considered Harish. So this is the Mishnah and Gemara in Shabbos Daf Ayin Gimel Amid Aleph and Amid Beis. The Rambam in Hilchas Shabbos, Perik Shvi, when he talks about the Lamites Malachis, he puts it in the following way. Hacharisha Bazriya, first plowing, and then planting, then sowing. So the Minchas Chinuch asks, why does the Rambam leave out the din of the Mishnah? The Mishnah is trying to tell you a chiddush, that even though you already did chayrish, yet the second time you do chayrish, you're still liable for it. That's a chiddush that Tana teaches us by virtue of putting zereya and then chayrish, as the Gemara explains. And yet the Rambam leaves that out. The Rambam puts the normal procedure, first charisha and then zriya. Why doesn't he tell us the chiddush that even when charisha is done, as in done in Eretz Yisrael, again, the second time, that's also a reason to be liable? So the simple explanation of the Rambam is that the Rambam held that there's no chiddush. What's the chiddush? Chayrish is chayrish. You did one charisha and you do another charisha, so what's the difference? Chayrish is still chayrish. You plowed. What's the difference if it was before the planting or after the planting? Therefore, the Rambam didn't feel it was a chiddush. It didn't have to be mentioned. But the Mishnah did think it was a chiddush. No, the Mishnah is just telling you this is the way they did it in Eretz Yisrael. It's telling you this system in Eretz Yisrael that first you did zriya and then you did chayrish, but it's not there to teach you a chiddush. What's the reason for this? So, in the words of the Minchas Chinuch, it seems that he's alluding to this. There's a sefer called Minchas Asher from Rav Asher Weiss, a Pesach in Eretz Yisrael, and Masechta Shabbos. And there he brings the Igli Tal from the Avnei Nezer, and Hilchis Chayrish says that there are two different understandings of what the malacha of Chayrish is. There are two ways of understanding that. One way of understanding it is that when you're plowing, you're softening the earth and making it easy to plant. If the earth is hard, then you can't plant. So the whole purpose of Chayrish is l'refuye ara, to soften the earth. That is Rashi's approach. Other Rishonim learn that no, it's not l'refuye ara, to soften the earth, it's l'tikkun ara, to fix the earth, to perfect it, to make it perfect, to beautify it. Just like this baina building in a house, there's also chayrish in the field. What you do when you build something, you make something perfect, you make something complete. If you do that in the house, it's called baina. If you do that in the field, it's called chayrish. So that seems to be the difference between Rashi and Rambam. According to Rashi, and Rashi says this clearly, chayrish is a prerequisite for planting. Therefore, there's a very big chiddush. When you do charisha, and then you do zriya, the charisha facilitated the zriya. So that's charisha for which you're chayiv. But once you're already planted, the charisha is not there for the planting anymore. You would think that you shouldn't be chayiv. Therefore, you have to have a chiddush that you're still chayiv for chayrish, even though it was the second time, and the second time, it seems, does not facilitate the process of Zarya. It's not, doesn't soften the earth the way the first Harish. So the Mishnah says, no, Afal Pikain, it's still necessary, it still helps to keep the seeds in the ground. But the Rambam learns that, no, it has nothing to do with Zarya. Harish is a malacha unto itself, that you're beautifying the earth, you're making the earth complete. It's a tikkun for the earth. In that case, what's the difference if there's a tikkun before the Zarya or the tikkun is after the Zarya? There's no chiddush. So then why does the Mishnah tell us first Harish and then first Zarya and then Harish? Because that's the way it was done in Israel. In Israel they had Harish that came after. And the Tana lived in Eretz Yisrael. But the Rambam is telling you how it is in all the rest of the world where Harisha comes before Zarya, and there's no Chiddush, because the Chiddush is only if you say it's there for the Zarya. But if it's not for the Zarya, Harish itself is a malacha, then there's no Chiddush in telling you that the second time you're also chayiv. And therefore the Rambam goes back to the normal system, but first Harish, Harisha, and then Zarya.